Well, hello folks, and welcome back to the AXA Training Centre, where Liverpool are preparing to what I would describe as a pretty do-or-die fixture for the manager. Leeds away tomorrow night. I'll be there down the M62, 5:30 kickoff. And if we've learnt one thing about Leeds this week, is that they can pack a punch, especially against the big boys. They nearly got a draw at the Etihad last Saturday, 2-2 until the last minute, moment of magic from Phil Foden. And then on Wednesday night, as Liverpool were drawing 1-1 with Sunderland, Leeds were winning 3-1 against Chelsea. Now, I presume most of you guys weren't watching the game over at Ellen Road because you were watching the Liverpool game, but if, like me, you probably got sick and tired of watching this Liverpool team and decided to turn over, you would have seen a team that is prepared to fight for the manager, a team that uses the fans to their advantage at their home ground, which is a raucous atmosphere, and a team that is, to be honest, not very good, but can turn over the big boys. Now, we're talking about Leeds. This is not a video about Leeds. Obviously, this is a Liverpool YouTube channel, but we're talking about them because what I'm saying is tomorrow will not be as easy as it may have looked 7 days ago. And to be honest, nothing looks easy for Liverpool at the moment. I did a video after the West Ham game at the London Stadium where I said Liverpool were much better and they were much more balanced and they put in a much more tactically cohesive performance against West Ham in beating West Ham at the London Stadium. But as I said in that video, lads, it's West Ham. And yeah, West Ham were good against United last night. I watched that game. But at the end of the day, it is that old nutshell. Dr. West Ham will see you now. Liverpool needed that win, and they could have done with a win against Sunderland. But what I'm saying here, ahead of this game against Leeds, is that for me, Arne Slot is still, the jury is still out. Arne Slot, I'm not going to say he's on trial, or am I? No, let's say it. Arne Slot's on trial with me, because I don't think he's done enough in the last 2 months to prove that he has the answers right now. I'm not saying he doesn't have the answers right now, by the way, because everything that I know about Arne Slot, everything that Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards know about Arne Slot from their now famous 60-page dossier about the then final manager, they know that he has the required tools to take Liverpool out of this slump and to guide them to more trophies, to more success in the coming years. However, he's not shown that yet to fans, to us journalists, that he can take Liverpool out of a tricky patch. Everything was all sunflowers and roses last season. Now everything is falling apart. And you may say to me, hold on a minute, it's 4 points in the last 2 games. That's not a disaster. No, it's not. But the performance against Sunderland was something that worried me greatly, because yes, they got a draw, and yes, the result wasn't as bad as it was against PSV or Nottingham Forest. But for me, that result, the performance was just as bad as some of the others in the last few weeks, because defensively it was better, okay, we'll give them that, although they could have easily lost the game, but attacking, they just seemed to have nothing. And the big debate was to Mo or not to Mo. Should Salah start? Should Salah be on the bench? Is he right to drop him? And with him in the second half, they looked no better really than they did in the first half without him. They could have easily lost that game, and the narrative would have been completely different. The back pages of the papers, the Sky Sports News, the Match of the Day would have all led off the fact that Slot was a man under heaps and heaps of pressure. But the fact they got the draw, and I think they were lucky to get that draw, because Wilson Isidore should have scored that goal at the end, should have scored that chance rather. I think they were lucky to get that draw, and I think that sort of skewed the narrative in the last few days around Liverpool. But I personally still don't think that was anywhere near the required level for a team. I think this is a team on the slide. I think it's a team that's getting worse. It reminds me a bit of Man United under David Moyes, where teams would just rock up and win their first game at Old Trafford for 30 years or 40 years. It felt like that would happen every other week in that period. And it feels like that at Liverpool. The fear factor at Anfield's gone. The fear factor around Liverpool in general has gone. Teams like Sunderland will now rock up. Promoted team, by the way. Yes, brilliant. love what they've done, love what Reggie Lebris has done this season, even though they are massively overperforming XG. They're 18th in the XG table, I think someone said to me. But yeah, love what they've done this season, and they rocked up with no fear and they made Liverpool look bang average, and I think that is fair to say. So Liverpool need to improve in these next 5 days, is it, where they play Leeds and then they travel to Inter Milan. I'll be going to both of those away games. Looking forward to being back in Milan. Was there last season when Liverpool beat AC Milan, and that was a time when Slot had to prove himself to fans just because it was his first Champions League game ever. He'd never won in the Champions League game because he was mainly in the Europa with Feyenoord. And he had to prove himself on that stage, and again, a year and a bit on, I still think he has a lot to prove to these Liverpool fans and to the rest of the Premier League, because the last 2 months has not been good enough. Does Slot deserve the chance to guide the team out of this mess? Absolutely he does. I think people will disagree in the comments. I'm sure they will. I know a lot of people are turning against him right now. But in these next 4 or 5 days, 2 games, 2 tough away games, I'm challenging Arne Slot, I'm challenging the players. Show us why they should be back. Show us why Arne Slot should be back. Show us why you can get Liverpool out of this mess. And it is a mess. Virgil van Dijk himself has called it a mess. Can the players show it? Can the players show some fight? Can the players show the creativity, the red arrows that took this league by storm last season? It's going to be a massive 5 days for Liverpool, but they do have to, for me, try and turn a corner now. Because, okay, if they go and beat Leeds tomorrow, then it's 7 points from the week, and you think, okay, fair enough, that's not too bad. But if it ends up with 4 points for the week, that is a catastrophe. Again, after plenty of those in the last few weeks. Leeds are a good team, as I keep saying. So let's go through now the predicted team that I would do for this game. I would obviously go Alisson in goal. Obviously, that goes without saying, although I don't think he has been perfect recently, especially with his feet. But that big save against Wilson, Isidore. At right back, I would stick with Joe Gomez for now. Conor Bradley, by the way, will be in the squad. That is the main team news from the press conference. I've just been in there. The reason I've not really spoke about the press conference too much is because there just wasn't too much to note from it. Arne Slot defending the fact that Liverpool were close to 2 wins and only a deflected shot changed that. And he talked a little bit about Alexander Isak as well, but nothing major, nothing to write home about. So Gomez at right back again for me. He had a little knock, by the way, I should report, earlier this week, but he's got over that and he's going to train later today. By the time this video goes out, he'll probably be on the training field. Centre-halves pick themselves, obviously, because there is just no one else to pick from. Canate has had a lot of stick recently, and it's all been fair. Most of it's been fair, but I would say he was a little bit better the other night against Sunderland. A little bit better, won a few duels, but there are still moments where you think, why has he done that? So the centre-backs split themselves. Left-back is a really tough decision. I would personally go with Robertson, but I do think that Slot will go with Kirkes. Centre-mids, Gravenberch and McAllister, probably again. I think both of them need to improve. We spoke to McAllister in the mix zone the other day at West Ham and he spoke well, said he's back to full fitness. I don't think he's back to his full ability, full form will probably be a better word yet. I want to see more from him in the coming weeks. But again, personally, I would be putting Curtis Jones in. I think he's done enough when he has played to prove that he deserves a start. So personally, I'm going Gravenberch and Jones. But I do think that it will be Gravenberch and McAllister again. And then the 3 behind the striker, I'm bringing back Mo Salah. I think he'll have a point to prove. I think he came off the bench and didn't really do too much the other night, but I think in an away game you want your best players, and Salah is certainly that. And I don't really think Szoboszlai at right midfield has really solved too much. So I'm going Salah, I'm going Wirtz as the number 10, and Gakpo I do think really needs to improve, although he was good at West Ham, goal and assist. I'm going Gakpo for now, and I'm going Ekitike as the number 9, just because I don't think Alexander Isak can do 3 starts in a week just yet. I also, whisper it quietly, I still don't think he's been very good. I know he scored against West Ham, but I think that was one touch that he had that was good in the match. I think the rest were quite bad, really. Heavy touches, a yard off the pace, not making those darts in behind when he does come short. It's, as I say, heavy touch, popping it off. He's not holding the ball up well enough for me. He still looks unfit. So let's see. But I would start Ekitike, because the last thing you want is to overplay Isak and him to get a muscular injury. I do think Isak is coming closer to that full fitness level, but he's not there yet. So let me know in the comments what you would do tomorrow. Let me know what you think about me saying Slot should be on trial. He's still, the jury's out for me on whether he is the man with the answers. As I keep saying, I do think he deserves a chance to put things right, but how many chances does he deserve? How many excuses can he make in his press conferences? Let's see what happens. I'm a big fan of Slot, as you know. I'm not just saying that because I cover him every week, but I think fans' patience is running out with him, and I can see why. So let's see what happens at Leeds. A win would make it 7 points in a week, as I say. That would be not bad at all, but 4 points from a week or 5 points from a week, I think that is very, very poor. So let's see what happens. Let me know in the comments what you're expecting, and I'll be back with a video from Ellen Road after the game. See you then.